I suspect that someone from the League of Reason has caught one of my recent videos, the Contra League of Reason, and is spreading my name around, because the recent wave of comments that I've gotten are fairly negative. And so I feel it prudent to reassert my position, first to say that I still feel justified in my objections to this group. At the same time, I should make clear that I'm not really looking to go on a crusade against them. Even when I made the counter group, it was a joke. It was tongue-in-cheek. It was suggested by a viewer. I had thought about it myself before. I said, why not? The weird part, though, is that in the first 24 hours, 100 people joined, or thereabouts. I guess it was about 90 or so. And now we've broken 100. And what that's all about, I'm not completely sure. It might be that most of these people have their own objections to the group. Some of them might just like the name. I don't really know. I think the fact that this has caught so much attention is important to bring to light. And it's unfortunate that, like, my most popular videos are always like the ones that are controversial and someone in the end feels offended. Not looking to do that. But let's talk about the League of Reason a little bit more. And I'll try to make the discussion based on comments that I've been reading. First, and probably most commonly, people are getting down on my critique because they suppose the League of Reason is promoting reason. You know, critical thinking. They promote critical thinking, this sort of thing. I have to say I'm not real moved nor impressed, you know, meaning I'm not real moved or you know, I'm not moved by that argument, not persuaded by that argument, simply because we could, I mean, you could easily think of a charity organization that raises money to, you know, save small children from death, some terrible flesh-eating disease, you know, the whatever, disease X. And so they raise money to conquer disease X and to fund research and to, you know, to hire volunteers to sit there and, you know, and stroke the little child's hand as they pass into the abyss of death. But if it just so happens that this group takes a little bit too much off the top of their proceeds and calls it overhead, I think objection is justified. But it would be very easy to suppose that, what? The person who would object to that, well, you're standing against these children. How dare you? Don't you know that they promote the saving of children from a terrible disease X that makes them bleed from the eyes and pus all over and scream and cry until they finally gag on themselves and suffocate to death? I mean, whatever. The goal is good. The approach is bad. The approach is bad. And so I want to kind of re-articulate, give you another sort of hypothetical kind of situation, because I think these are the most meaningful to people. I could be wrong, though, but here we go. If you wanted to learn how to write science fiction, and I said, oh, I have a website, I will teach you how to write. I promote writing. And then you come to the website and you realize we're really just teaching how to write romance novels. It might be true to say that we promote writing. And it might be true to say that you could learn something that could be applied to your science fiction novel from learning from us how to write romance novels. But at that point, is not some qualifier justified? I mean, all you guys that harp about the primacy of utility, you know, of usefulness, is it not more useful to have an accurate description of what you do? Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't think so, though. Now, I'm really making argument against the shows that I've seen the League of Reason do. A lot of you had mentioned they have a forum, and I've taken the time to look at a few posts, and I mean, from what I see, I don't see a whole lot of difference, though there's obviously many more threads than blog TV shows, and I might be missing them. But in their blog TV shows that I've seen anyway, it really does seem quite the same. That the way that they teach reason and promote reason is by saying that Bible thumpers are stupid. Yeah, maybe they are, but holy shit. I mean, can we really call this promoting reason without qualifying it in some way? I mean, if that's all you do. You know, they promote critical thinking. Well, I bet they do. They promote free thinking. I'm not, fine. But are they doing it the best that they could? Not the best possible. We don't need to expect that from them. I don't think that would even be justified. But could they not make some very blatant and obvious improvements? The objections that people have had when they have sided with me on this issue bring up these shows, that they don't like the format of the shows. So change the shows. And most of the objection will leave. I'll still be whining about how you need to put a qualifier. You talk about reason. If you do it through the medium of a worldview, which I think is pretty obvious that they do. But if you want to ignore that, fine, ignore that. But at least change the shows. Yeah, so, no, do I think that promoting reason is a bad thing? No. Do I think they're doing a bad job of it? Yeah, I do. A lot of people, I mean, even though this group, this intellectual bankruptcy group, was made as a joke, a number of you have approached me with the hopes of making it into a real thing. And maybe it will be. I need a little bit more persuasion, especially if people expect me to be the head of it, because it takes time. And ultimately, we would need, the only way I would feel comfortable about it is if we did what the League of Reason supposes that they do, but do it better than them. And that would need some thought. I mean, you could talk about reason and logic irrespective of worldview. There's no reason to even mention Bible thumpers, for or against them. You know, if you took a college logic course, you don't need that to talk about reason and dialectic and inferences and argumentation and logical fallacies and all these kinds of things. It's just not necessary. There just seems to be an agenda there, more than just promoting reason. And if I'm wrong, I really apologize, but I really feel justified in this.